Good afternoon and welcome to Taking Care of Business. Today I'll be talking to Sharon Novinger with Partners for Youth, but she's going to be talking to us about Promise Neighborhood, a collaboration and effort of a number of community groups and designed to restore and revitalize several neighborhoods in and around the city of Lancaster. Our show, Taking Care of Business, is brought to you by several sponsors, including Comporium Communications, Founders Federal Credit Union, INSP Crossridge, Nutramax Laboratories, MUSC Health, the Lancaster Medical Center, PCI Group, and Oceana Gold, the Hale Operation. We're also appreciative of our sponsorship with Haynes Full Circle Benefits, and we've got a quick message from Marty Haynes and his business.
Employee benefits are the best way to retain valuable employees. What you offer, ease of enrollment, and how you manage the cost of those benefits is very important. Healthcare is expensive. Some employees may delay or forego care. Are you just accepting that renewal increase, or are you actively managing the cost of healthcare and benefit design in order to keep the cost manageable for your employees? It's time to lay the groundwork, scrap the cookie cutter approach, and develop customized solutions that meet the goals of your business and the needs of your employees. If you are ready for real alternatives and a trusted advisor, give us a call.
Well, good afternoon, Sharon. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Oh, great. No, glad to have you on the show today. And first, I know we sent out a little teaser on Promise Neighborhood, but it's quite the effort. So tell everybody a little bit about Promise Neighborhood.
Okay. Well, thank you again for having me here this afternoon. Lancaster Promise Neighborhood is actually chaired by three people who are very involved in the Lancaster community: Charlene McGriff, as well as Councilwoman Charlene McGriff, as well as Paul McKenzie. With the school district, Dr. Paul McKenzie, and Bruce Brumfield with Founders Federal Credit Union. And Charlene was going to be here with me today, but she's not able to join us due to a family of passing in her family. But anyway, so long story, to be very concise about what is Promise Neighborhood. We have 27 different organizations that have partnered together throughout the community, anywhere from the school district, their main partner, to Lancaster County Partners for Youth, of which I'm an executive director of, to law enforcement agencies, to churches, many churches in the area, to nonprofits, everyone with the goal to make Lancaster a better place for families, for students, for education, as well as to attract new businesses to come in our area. So Promise Neighborhood, in a nutshell, is modeled after the Harlem Children's Zone, which back in the 80s, Dr. Jeffrey Canada, he and many, a cross-section of many community members started revitalization efforts of Harlem, Harlem, New York. So anyway, Harlem, they restored 97 blocks, block by block, by involving everyone everyone that lived there, everyone that went to school there. And now that area has the best schools in New York, and it's incredibly impressive. And so that's been going on for several decades now. And the U.S. Department of Education has seen this, and several years ago, they started doing offering applications for the Promise Neighborhood grant, which is basically replications of the Harlem Children's Zone. Not everything, we can't do everything cookie cutter like they did in Harlem, because we're a different community, obviously. So we have surveyed and assessed and data analyzed and had many meetings to see what it is that would work here. And so basically, in a nutshell, Promise Neighborhood is a pipeline of programs birth through college and career, partnering also with USC Lancaster. I neglected to mention them a second ago, but that are offering a pipeline of services to help bring education to a new level in that zone. And the zone we're focusing on is the Clinton, Brucker to Lancaster High attendance zone.
Gotcha. So, I was about to ask you about the neighborhoods that are addressed, and I knew the Clinton area, but it's it's a pretty broad area.
Yes.
And talk about I know you guys have started this effort several years back. I was involved in that in some of the first meetings. Talk about some of the challenges that we're facing right here and why this is so important.
Okay. Well, and I was starting to talk about some of that, but then I thought, well, I better give you a break to be able to answer.
Ask the questions at least.
Right? Or I could keep going on and on. No. Anyway, in the phrase "a rising tide lifts all boats." We know as one county, we need to work together to help ensure success of everyone in the county. And by that, I mean, if you look at there's CDC data, if you go to approach these census tracts, which include areas 107 and 108, and those are as well as the federal opportunity zones. They've been federally designated as opportunity zones. So if you look at those two census tracts, there are the highest health disparities and inequities in our county. For example, the highest percentage of diabetes, of high blood pressure, of obesity. Let's see, and everything, and the list goes on and on. Tooth loss, even. They're all focused in that area, as well as it's the most densely impoverished area in our county. The highest poverty rate, the highest crime rates, unfortunately, too. It goes hand in hand. So when we've looked at the data, anything from census data to South Carolina Ready scores to South Carolina Pass scores, surveying several years ago in the summer, a group of 40 of us went around and knocked on every door in the Clinton attendance zone. And I just want to clarify, when we say the zone, we are like I said a second ago, we talk about the Clinton attendance zone, but in order to follow the child, to provide the services, we of course go to the feeder schools of A.R. Rucker and Lancaster High. And when we do that, we're offering the programs to everyone that goes to those schools. It's called a cohort model. So that means it's not just the people that live in the attendance, or I'm sorry, in the Clinton zone, but it's the whole Lancaster High attendance zone eventually. But so the neighborhoods we're talking about, and people are often surprised about how the attendance zones look, because it's sort of like a splatter effect. But Clinton attendance zone goes from around the old Lancaster Mill area, so Brooklyn Avenue, all the way up to 903, all the way over to 200, up to, I think, like Robin Drive, it cuts off, and it includes the city. So it's a very, like I said, like an ink blot attendance zone. But in those areas, we've partnered with a lot of the faith-based communities, the churches, who really want to offer their congregants, their residents, a better chance of life. So what we start out with the baby college, bringing resources into a lot of the families that they just need a little extra help, along with them going through, evidence-based programs to see how they can, be a better parent, have behavior modification, have, and in hand, we've partnered with the churches, the schools, and everything to sort of bring wraparound services to everyone.
Right. Well, I know you and I have talked about it before, and I know the chamber has been very active in workforce development. And, one thing I always say when we kind of start that is you can't take workforce development and just look at it individually. You've got to look at it holistically. Workforce development doesn't start at high school or technical college. It really starts at birth and with that early childhood development and all those components that go on. So the thing that's exciting about this is, for years and years, we have all focused efforts individually to address pieces of this puzzle, but never has there been a comprehensive approach like this. And I think that's what it's going to take to be successful. You started talking about a few of the programs. Go into give us kind of an overview. I mean, I know it's almost like, cradle to career sort of activities to kind of really help move folks and move the needle. Talk about a few of the different programs.
Well, and I'll preface it by saying too that a lot of the programs we might, sort of like the comprehensive approach. We have not had the complete comprehensive approach, or it's been able to, for example, the parent-child home visitation program that we've had here before that the Children's Council has run has only been for 50 parents at a time when it's been incredibly impactful for those groups. We need to expand it to the whole zone, penetration of the whole zone. So it starts, for example, that's one of the programs, as well as early Head Start, First Steps programs like Countdown to Kindergarten, the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, really expanding those efforts and then into the child gets into the schools, because one of the reviews, the independent reviews they've done with Harlem Children's Zone, is that they have 100% school readiness scores entering into the zone. Unfortunately, we do not share that at all. With Harlem with the Harlem stats. We have a long way to go, and there's some incredible teachers and administrators and everything and parents as well, working very hard to prepare their children for school, and we just need to give that extra help. So getting back, I know we can talk for a while on this, but getting back to the programs. So they follow the child through elementary school with after school programs, with concentrated efforts with that, and to go to the middle school. Some of the programs involved in the middle school include, one is more mental health counselors for both middle and high school. And also mentoring programs start in middle school, called one program in particular is called Check and Connect, where it's community members. It's in a way the old truancy model is after old truancy officers, but it's more like you said, holistic approach to that. They'll start tracking the students. They start having a one-on-one relationship with students in which they're mentoring them to see, okay, what's going on, what other than you just not going to school, something else is happening. You have to track the student that way. And there's also a program called Accelerated Middle School, in which it really there's an evidence-based program that's listed on the What Works Clearinghouse. So it's been tested, and proven effective in many different many different communities around the country. And so that is working with the principals as well as the teachers at the middle school to get them to get some of the students that encourage them, academically, to get a lot of their classes out of the way, to keep them engaged, because we know from data it's the third grade, eighth grade, those 2 years as third, eighth, and also sixth are very, very crucial to the success, and to workforce development of children. And then with high school, it echoes again a lot of the middle school programs too, but with extended day, with after school and everything.
Gotcha. Well, the thing that excites me, and when we were talking earlier about some of the programs, you're utilizing existing programs. You're utilizing existing services providers in our area that already have a proven track record of success. You mentioned the Children's Council. You mentioned First Steps. So a lot of those programs we're just going to be able to expand, which is going to be great. The other programs that you're introducing are tried and true. They're ones that the Harlem Project utilized or other projects have utilized, and it's demonstrated success. Talk a minute. The timing of this is great because of the effort that the city's making on revitalizing downtown.
Yes.
And I know when you guys went to Harlem, that's one thing that you guys saw, that, not just were, the neighborhoods coming back to life, the areas of economic health in and around those neighborhoods did too. So, in the group working on this, how critical do you see this effort of springboarding to the success of our downtown revitalization?
It goes hand in hand. It's crucial because you can't. I really don't think, and our leadership doesn't think as well, that you can't have one without the other. It's years ago, I lived in Savannah for a while, and there was a effect around Savannah, where there's only this economic development in the historic district, and then you had to go through many districts to get to the south side where there's more economic development. So we don't want that, disjointness at all. And so with the city's plan, we're working hand in hand with the trash pickup. Part of the what I did not talk about yet is I know a lot of people identify Promise Neighborhood right now with the programs we could run. We did apply. I will say we did apply for this grant in 2017, and we scored perfect. The last time it was offered, it was in late 2017, and we had a perfect score. We just did not get the extra bonus points, which this time we will. And so after we did not get funded, we went back, federally funded. We went back to our local supporters and said, hey, we did not get this federal grant, but we want to continue on with what we can do. And so some of the things that what we could do was our community pride. And that goes, so this long answer to your question about what the city plan is, part of the city plan so much is beautification and revitalization, physical improvements. And that goes, our community, our Lancaster community pride, our community work days goes hand in hand with that. And, actually one of the chief volunteers that we've had when it started, I should say, when we started our community work days, the first one was December 2016. And then we had a good run of them until the pandemic, of course. And every work day, at first, Mayor Howard was at every workday. Mayor Devaney helped come, and we did smoke alarm installations or fire alarm installations. And then also our city administrator has been at almost every workday. He's very dedicated to this, as well as county leadership too. So we collaborate well together, I should say.
And that's great. And we certainly see it, private investment to start and really occur again in the downtown area. They're going to look and see what the city's doing with their plan, but they're also going to take into account the per capita income, the unemployment rate, the education attainment rate, the school readiness rate in the region around the city to determine, are they going to invest in the city? So I totally agree. The success of Promise Neighborhood will impact the success of our downtown revitalization without a doubt. We're about to run out of time. You mentioned funding. This has got to be incredibly costly. I know that you're going for a big grant. Talk a little bit about the cost, how it's funded, and then how people can get involved.
Okay, thank you, Dean. I know I didn't even realize we were running up against time already, but the grant application is due by March 5th. So it's a very quick turnaround. The federal government announced this grant in late January, and then we started getting all of our partners together. We contacted the people that supported us last time, and so the projection for U.S. Department of Education is to give out 7 awards throughout the country with an average of $5 to $7 million a year for average award for a 5-year grant. So that could start at anywhere, 25 million and north onward. Now, when you hear that only 7 are being given, Lancaster actually has a very good track record in the past of getting awards like that. Actually, Lancaster County Partners for Youth, we've administered 4 federal grants. And the last 2, we were one of 8 and one of 9 recipients around the country. So we do have a good track record with that. So last grant application, we had to have, because of our county poverty rate was over 20%, we had to provide a 50% match. So if we were, asking for $5 million a year, we needed to have, $2.5 million a year in match. This year, because of the growth, and so encouragement with growth and the poverty rate going down, it's now in the county, it's now, I think, 14.6%, which is wonderful, except for it bumped us up to another category, meaning we have to provide 100% match. So, of which 10% has got to be a cash pledge. And so we're just doing pledges. We're not asking for actual donations right now. So the grant should we get the grant, it would start October 1. So we would then need to start collecting pledges after that. We being Partners for Youth, because we're the applicant, because school districts cannot apply. That's a federal statute. So right now we've gotten in pledges a little north of $3 million. We need a little more, actually. But we can adjust our budget accordingly, but that's how we stand right now. We've been meeting, we've been Zooming, we've been doing all that with many different organizations throughout the county, and we've gotten incredible support. Actually, nobody's actually told us no. So that's really encouraging.
Well, I think everybody recognizes the importance of it. Sharon, you and Paul McKenzie are simply masters at being able to identify and leverage the challenges that we face to go after these grants, and then the support, just the longstanding support of our community, and led by people like Charlene McGriff and Bruce Brumfield with Founders, just really lay the groundwork. And I know there's many others, the Eris Foundation, Comporium Communications, Nutramax now, all just, very active, avid philanthropists here in the community that give. I don't even know why I tried to say that word.
That's okay.
Sharon, thank you for being on the show.
You're welcome.
If somebody wants to get involved, how do they reach you?
Yes. So there's a variety of ways. They can contact me through our Facebook, through Lancaster County Partners for Youth, and even Lancaster Promise Neighborhood. We have a separate Facebook page as well. You can contact our office. It's 803-286-1465. And also my email is sharon@lcpartnersforyouth.org.
And if you can't remember any of that, call the chamber, ask for Dean or Emily, and we'll get you connected to Sharon.
Yeah, and we are proud members of the chamber and in the directory. So
you guys do a great job, and Sharon, I appreciate everything you do. I mean, you're active at the chamber with our Leadership Lancaster program, our youth leadership program, which after the pandemic ends, hope we can get that kicked back off. But
exactly.
Thank you for being on the show, and good luck on this. And we look forward to talking to you again soon. Everybody have a great day. Okay.
Bye.
See ya.